Hey, happy Wednesday, guys. I know everybody's watching the whole Pete Hegseth boat bombing story, okay? But the story that's kind of floating below the radar is the one where he's pardoning these kingpin drug dealers, right? So he's killing the low-level couriers and he's freeing the architects, all while simultaneously calling it a war on drugs and using that as his justification for being able to literally assassinate people. Okay, so let's just talk about the three biggest drug dealers that Trump has pardoned in the last couple of months. And these scumbags are brought to you by a coffee and presented in no particular order. First up, Ross Ulbricht, who, I will remind you, his mother is the one that was down at the Trump crypto dinner and gave a bunch of money and all of a sudden her son gets freed. But anyway, I'm sure it's not related. He built what's called the Silk Road, which is basically like the Amazon delivery system of drugs in the United States. And guys, this is no tiny thing, okay? This is 1.5 million transactions, over 200 million in sales. And we have all the usual suspects: heroin, meth, fentanyl precursors, I mean everything. All shipped quietly directly to American homes like Amazon Prime. And 6 overdose deaths have been linked directly to that Silk Road company that he built, including a 16-year-old girl. He was convicted of 7 federal counts and sentenced to life without parole. But don't worry, because Daddy Trump's got his back. What does Trump do on day 2 of Trump's presidency? He pardons this tool. Not a commutation, not a reduction. He wipes the slate clean for a little bit of this cheddar. And Trump frames it as a nod to the libertarians and to Ross's mom, who had basically been out campaigning for him. So Ross gets to walk free, while the people that he killed with his business, they get to take a forever nap. And that brings us to this ass clown, Larry Hoover, founder of the Gangster Disciples, and architect of decades of bloodshed. Larry Hoover's organization was 30,000 members strong at its peak and fueled one of the deadliest narco ecosystems in the Midwest. And this dude was like Santa, had it all: crack, heroin, extortion, unalivings for hire, the whole gambit. I mean, due specifically to this particular individual, Chicago unalivings spiked in the 80s and 90s, but it's okay, because Trump will have his back too. This dude was sentenced to not 1, not 2, but 6 federal life sentences, plus 200 years in state prison for unalivings. But what does Trump do on May 29, 2025? He commutes all of Hoover's federal time served. All of it. And that didn't happen because of new facts that were unearthed. And it sure as shit didn't happen because Hoover suddenly proved his innocence. It happened literally because Kanye refused to shut up about it. And basically because Trump wanted to give a high five to his celebrity backers. Now, Hoover still has to serve his time in state prison, but all of his federal charges wiped. And that brings us to the most recent offender on the asshole lineup. That is Juan Orlando Hernandez, the narco president who turned Honduras into a cocaine funnel. I mean, this dude, who is referred to as JOH, isn't some crooked mayor. He was the freaking president of Honduras, running the country like a partnership with the Sinaloa cartel. According to U.S. prosecutors, he let more than 400 tons of cocaine flow freely towards the United States in exchange for bribes, including money from El Chapo himself. This wasn't hidden. It was well documented in sworn testimony, in trial transcripts, in DEA intel, stretching back over a decade. And he was convicted in 2024 and given 45 years, which to me is just not enough time, in federal prison. And Trump, on 1 December, he grants him a full pardon, calling it a Biden setup and claiming that he had been treated unfairly by the Biden administration. So now the man who greenlit a cocaine corridor straight into the United States is walking around Florida, all pardoned and shit. A low-level Venezuela boat crews are being blown out of the water in the name of stopping the very same drug trade that JOH profited from. Here's the real story. Ulbricht built a nationwide delivery system for narcotics. Hoover oversaw a gang soaked in blood and dope. And Hernandez used an entire country as his personal cartel runway. And now these 3 are free because Trump wanted to reward political allies, please celebrities, and of course, pay off movements that boosted him in 2024. And frame himself as the savior of the unfairly targeted. So while Trump's saying that he's waging a war on drugs, the receipts say exactly the opposite. He's pardoning the kingpins and bombing the couriers. Anyways, if you find this interesting, I know I did, please share this with a friend because I feel like this is just not getting the airtime that it deserves. I mean, the double standard is impossible to ignore.